This is Carl Munson of Expats Portugal, and this is number 9 of 1,000 things to enjoy in Portugal. The Azores, or Azores, is one of the 2 autonomous regions of Portugal, the other being Madeira, and is also an archipelago composed of 9 inactively volcanic islands situated in the North Atlantic Ocean. Approximately 900 miles west of Lisbon and 1,000 miles approximately northwest of Morocco, the Azores' main industries are agriculture, including its notable dairy farming and tea growing, fishing and tourism. The capital is Angra do Heroísmo, but Ponta Delgada is perhaps better known as Principal City. The 9 major Azorian islands are clustered in 3 main groups which extend for more than 370 miles. Flores and Corvo to the west, Graciosa, Terceira, São Jorge, Pico and Faial in the centre, and San Miguel, Santa Maria and the Formigas Reef to the east. Hola, bon dia. Carl Munson here. I would like to say fresh from the Good Morning Portugal Wine Club last night, but that is not probably the right word to be using. I can tell you that Fita Azul Espumante from Portugal is a very, very good bottle of fizz. But we know that whilst fizz does the biz, sometimes there isn't a poem or a rhyming couplet to go with the damage it can cause the morning after. So I'm so glad that my guest is here this morning. Let's bring her on the screen so she can do most of the talking this morning. And we should get to the bottom of this mystery. Jennifer, Jenny, or Jen, what should it be?
You can choose. What's your favorite?
I thought you would say that. I quite like going with the formal Jennifer.
Then.
HoliHealthy. Good morning to you. How are you this morning on this Feelgood Friday?
I'm very good. I'm feeling good compared to you, I think.
Yeah, well, I think that's true. And compared to last time as well, where I rather rushed you, didn't I? We had a little bit of a mix-up on the start time, and I rather flustered you. Yeah, so thank you for being such a sport last time. Thank you for coming back despite all of that. And our mission this morning in this first day of lockdown, or second major lockdown in Portugal, is to spread a little bit of good cheer and feel-good factor. I don't know, Janet. I'm going to call you Jen from now on, okay? If everyone in comments is a bit hungover as well. Very quiet this morning in the comments. Maybe they're a bit sort of sad about the lockdown. Come on, folks, where are you? Just quick, before we come back to you, Jen, and find out what you've been up to. Bon dia, todos de la area from the doc over there, who made his debut on the show earlier this week. I wonder how you're feeling this morning. You joined us on the Wine Club. Foggy but warm over there. I think he's talking about the weather and not his mental state. He might be talking about his mental state, foggy but warm. Bon dia from Moscow this morning from Caroline. Olga Silva. Bon dia. Where are you, Olga, this morning? Thane Tierney. Good morning to you, Thane. A lovely bon dia from you. On this sexta-feira, 15 de janeiro. For those of you who like a date stamp and who like to test my Portuguese. More Portuguese coming up, because I said we would look at how to order food in Portuguese. Now you can only do that by telephone and do takeaways. Hank Stalica, good morning to you from California in the US of A. Good morning to you, Hank. How you doing? You're on that treadmill again. Bon dia todos from Sintra, from Druba. Gary's here. I'm here. Good. He sounds like John Inman from Are You Being Served? I'm here. Saba Akril from Will. What happened to you? It's an episode of like Doctor Who where he's been talking now in a different language. I think that's interesting. Penny's here. I'm here, feeling fine after my no secco. Yes, that's the upside, isn't it, of a dry January. Well done, Penny. I wish I'd been drinking. No, I don't actually. I really enjoyed the Fita Azul. Trilar, I'm here. I'm noisy. I'm happy. Well, that's good, Deborah. Yes, not going with the collective narrative of mutedness in this second major lockdown in Portugal, which is great. Nick, bon dia, many thanks for organising the citizenship meeting last night. Very useful. That sounds really formal, doesn't it? The citizenship meeting where we stand and salute the flag. It sounds like much more formal than it actually was. But it's great to have you there, Nick, and I'm glad we were able to help you. And of course, wasn't feeling good cheer first thing this morning, says the doc, after last night's wine club. Someone turned off our water overnight. Someone sorted now, foggy mentally and physically. Got to the bar. Kalimera from Olga Silva in Greece, I'm guessing. And Will's got a hostage hoster. the hosta plant, possibly. So there's all the greetings so far. Thank you, everybody. I thought they weren't talking to us this morning, Jen. So how have you been? How are you getting your head around this state of things in the country of Portugal at the moment? Because you came here from Germany, did you not? Fairly recently, I think.
No, it actually has been. Well, it's all it's all relative, isn't it? But on the 13th, I actually had my first year residency in Portugal. Oop, oop.
Oh, well done.
Yep.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you. So
I'm
yeah.
guessing you didn't think it was going to be quite like this, though, right? In your first year.
Well, I don't think anybody did, huh? I think we all went here for the better, and now it got locked down and freezing cold. So it's a challenge for all of us, I think.
Yeah. The cold weather as well. Weren't expecting that for sure.
Yeah, it does so much, the weather. I mean, you come from the UK. What am I talking? You're used to having like a gray cloud on top of your head all the day. I couldn't do that. I really couldn't. It would be the killer for me. Absolutely.
That's a very interesting description of life in the UK, but I suppose it's not entirely inaccurate, is it? A great
No.
all day.
Yeah. And but you see, with the lockdown now, I know what you mean, and it is another really, really big challenge. It's like the big downer of January. You were hoping now, 2021, everything will be better. Chances are waiting. I can drive to my friend 50 miles away finally, or do a travel or whatever. And now this big bummer, and everybody says, no, I'm sorry. Increased numbers. You messed it up Christmas. It's your fault.
Yes, some people are feeling it that way, aren't they? That it's all our fault because we didn't do what we were supposed to do.
But
Very interesting.
some media channels are actually communicating like this, aren't they? I mean, it's really spooky. And I know that when you're already a little bit vulnerable and in this situation, your mind is not thinking straight. You take the shoe on you're thinking like, oh, I've been a naughty girl again. I went to the shop and wasn't wearing a mask on my way in the car. Oh my God. Things like it's stupid. Stupid. So, but in all of this despair, I think, again, gratitude is for what we have is a really, really good tool to get your mind out of this lacking and this misery and all the BS that's going on around us, where you just don't have an impact on it. It's always important for you to draw the line and see the circle. Where do you have an impact on and where you don't?
Very good.
Your own feelings and your attitude towards something and all this is what you got an impact on. Your feelings, your physical feelings, mental feelings, all this. But not so much on how the government decides to react to increased numbers, to all the numbers in general, to that your shop does only do delivery, or that you can't go buy a washing machine now. All these things are out of your power.
Is that a real life example, Jen? The washing machine thing.
Yeah, the washing machine.
Okay. So, if I may, in the mental state I'm in, to sort of summarize and pull something from that, more than ever, perhaps then, happiness is an inside job. Because people have said that, haven't they, in the kind of new agey spiritual movement. But we're really getting the circumstances to test that theory. And it looks to me like it's true. It looks to me to be what you're saying. And when we began talking about you being on the show for this Feel Good Friday edition, the gratitude was the theme. So take us deeper into that. You're a reformed pharmacist, if I may put it that way. And so you give out a different kind of prescription these days.
Yes.
Not so much the pills and potions, but more the kind of psychological advice and a sort of different way of looking at things. So please expand on that, this power of gratitude. Have you been keeping a gratitude diary, as I suggested people might do this week?
I'm honestly trying. The thing is, I'm a very grateful person. I do go in gratitude a couple of times a day, but I do not write it down so much. But I do have a journal anyway. So I nearly journal every day, just write down my thoughts. And there is mostly part of it what I'm thankful for. But I have a full list, because it's like, oh my God, it would be several pages every day. So, but it's good. It's about getting you into this feeling. Because if you think about it, and I want to connect it with what you just said about that happiness actually lies inside.
Yeah.
It's the same with gratitude. We get told it's all in the outside, happiness. But if you think about it, Carl, have you ever bought yourself an item and the happiness you have had about that lasted longer than, let's say, in a good time, 2 months?
It happens every time I go to Wharton, the gadget shop. I imagine I go to Coimbra Forum, for example, and I think to myself, I cheer myself up with a bit of retail therapy, a little gadget. And as soon as I bought the actual mouse, this is the last electronic thing I bought, thinking that it would change my life and make me a very happy man. And you're right; it's not 2 months, 2 minutes, really. It's all in the anticipation, actually, with these things I've discovered. And there's nothing wrong with a bit of retail therapy, but I think we have to understand its limits, don't we? So I totally get your point. It is not a sustainable form of happiness, and actually, it's a very expensive form of happiness. Is to buy your way out of grumpiness or whatever.
See, that's nicely put. Buy your way out of grumpiness. Yeah, I like that. That could be a nice slogan for a really shitty Chinese shop or something.
I should point out that the Chinese shop is a phenomenon in Portugal, and other shops are available. And occasionally they are extremely useful. Very good value. On the one hand, potentially filling the world with more plastic than we'd ever really want. But occasionally just that right moment when you needed a cable tie or some more gaffer tape or something like that. So God bless all those people who work in the Chinese shops of Portugal. We salute you when we absolutely need you. But it's a very strange phenomenon, like nothing I'd ever seen anywhere else in the world, apart from Hong Kong, of course. But that's another story. So yes, so tell us more then about how we can implement and really feel. I mean, because I think some people really won't be feeling it this morning, and not because of their hungover necessarily, but it's like, okay, it's over. I get it. I totally get it, and it is fairly straightforward understanding something at an intellectual level. But it's got to be more important, isn't it, to really embed this on a daily level and really feel it. You're talking about feeling this on an emotional level. So for those who are watching, it's all very well. Yeah, I'm very grateful. I counted my blessings 2 weeks ago. Blah. Why is it important to really dig in and get into it and do the kind of the hard work in a way of being grateful?
Yeah, well, it's a matter of a habit, creating this habit. That's why I recommend doing a journal, because first it is a big difference if you actually visualize in a written way your thoughts, if you bring them down on paper, because then you have to finish your thought. That does make a big difference. Because what you like to do in your brain is you just cut them off. So that's one thing why it's important to actually write it down. It gets you deeper into the feeling. And then the thing is, our brain works like this. We naturally tend to go down the negative route of thinking. Our brain tends to go the worst case scenario, whatever happens.
Yes.
And particularly when we are in stress. Because our body only has two mechanisms, basically. It's called parasympathicus and sympathicus. That's basically fear or love. That's the both things you are in as a human being. In fear, you're only in fear you're only able to be in anger, to be depressive, to be anxious, and that is where you're not controlled from your brain. You're not in intellectual control. You're just in your primitive brain, and you're just reacting. But it's got nothing to do with thinking, really. It's just functioning. So if you are bringing yourself into the love modus, into the sympathicus, where you're actually relaxed, then you get back your intellectual control, and then you're able to differentiate and think logically and rationally again and make good decisions. So to bring yourself from fear into this love mode, gratitude is one of the really nice tools. It's free. You can do it anytime, wherever you want. You don't need anything for it. You can support it with a lovely journal I created for you. So that's that.
Yeah.
It's online as a link. You can print it out, and it's designed so it can give you a routine. So it's for 4 weeks. That's the time you usually need to create a new routine.
Yeah.
Because the beautiful thing about our brains is it's something that's called neuroplasticity.
Yeah.
So your brain is not static the way it is. You can model it. And that's the same with what I've been talking about earlier. This negative route you usually go down from your brain naturally, you can impact this. You have an influence on it. You decide where it's getting, like which route it wants to take. At the beginning, this seems really abstract. You think, how could I do that? If I could control my thoughts, oh my God, I would think so much better things. Ah, you might think that. But no,
Ah.
we're all still humans. So, but the this is the trick. If you understand how your brain works, you can intervene and go like, hold on a minute. I'm still the boss, so I decide what's going on in here. And if then you think about that, you are not your thoughts. A lot of teachers like to use the picture for clouds. So your brain is basically like a sky. And some days there's loads of clouds and it's all gray and dark and horrible. But they will pass. They will pass by and then the blue sky will come out again. And some days there's not even a tiny little fluffy cloud and you just have a wonderful blue sky. And that's also great. But be aware there might be clouds coming back, but that's okay because when you don't grab it, when you don't hold on to this thought, it will pass anyway. But it's us, huh? So there's this thing coming into your mind. I don't know. For example, now is lockdown, huh? Pirate gang. Okay, I don't know what that is, but yeah.
But she's in. Very good. Like, that's a real accolade. That's a real accolade from Will. I haven't even been invited into the pirate gang, so I think that's a really good sign there. But yeah, go on. So it's applying this specifically to the big challenge of the moment. Obviously, this is hard for people to be challenged in this way. So go on.
See, and the thing is, I know sometimes it's like overwhelming, and you think, oh my God, it's really such a shitty time. What is there to find that's still good?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Once you start it, you will actually see there's a lot of good things. Last time we've been scratching, we all pull ourselves out in the morning out of our nice and warm, comfy bed. That's something to be really grateful for.
Yes. What, the comfy bed?
Yeah, the comfy bed you don't even want to go out of. A
Yes.
fridge that's full with foods, a roof on top of your head,
Yeah.
water out of the taps, warm water out of the taps, shoes you can walk in. Exactly. Spumante you can make a nice Thursday evening with. You know, yeah, it's tiny things. It can be miniature things. But when you're outside, it's about pushing the pause button.
Yes.
That's what it does. And then take a minute. There's no harm. You can definitely do nothing wrong. And if it's only that you think, okay, there's really not much, but I had a nice cup of tea this morning, so let's go with this. That's something, It's about showing your brain that whatever there is always something positive in it. And when you practice this route, then after a while, your brain goes down this route more easily. So you're off this worst case thinking, and then there will be this transition where you notice you go back into this worst case thinking, but then you go like, hold on a minute.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, got it. And of course, we should. It's another thing to be grateful for in a funny sort of way, isn't it? That our brain is always looking on the dark side in many ways because it's trying to protect us, right? But we can say, can't we? Okay, thank you, doommonger part of the brain for trying to protect me. But I've got this now. I'll take over here. Thank you very much. And we'll go into a little bit of gratitude and celebration rather than being constantly in this activated mode of fear and worry about things, which, people can very easily get into now. And in many ways, there are many good reasons why they would, but it's not a balanced view of life, is it? Let's face it.
Absolutely. I mean, if the people who are there now, you're welcome to share what you're grateful for this morning. Try try to scratch the gray cells in your head a little bit. If you find something, I'm sure you will.
Let's do this. That's a great idea, Jen. So please use the comments as your journal this morning. We are going to create, we're going to activate the love mode. I'm pushing the button. We are pushing the button here on the Good Morning Portugal show to activate that love mode and put the fear mode to one side. I'm guessing we're all in a nice, safe place watching the show, so we can set the fear mode to one side and turn the love mode up to 11. This morning, activated and turned up to 11 this morning. Let's hear your reasons to be cheerful, your reasons to be grateful in the comments under the excellent and expert direction of Jennifer Barraccu, who's with us this morning from HoliHealthy. That link you mentioned, how do people get in touch with you and your work, please, Jen?
You can check me out on Facebook. It's Holy_Healthy. You can call me as well. You'll find the phone number on my page on Facebook. There's also some more information about it. You find all my services. And particularly for this time in lockdowns, I'd like to emphasize that I do not only do therapy walks, I do offline counseling as well.
There we go.
Online counseling. So if people like to have a session, have a talk with me, or find out more about all the things we're talking about, or want to improve their mental state or health state in general, I'm there. Just give me a buzz or send me a message on Facebook, and I'm sure we'll find something to talk about.
Fantastic.
And improve it.
Of course, good. And we will come to the comments then to see if people are and this is this is the transition. It's like it's going from the intellectualized yes, I know I've got lots of reasons to be grateful, to actually expressing it, because that makes a lot of sense to me. When you see what's being written down, or when you say it out loud, something else happens rather than, yes, of course I know I'm lucky. You know, that's a very intellectualized thing, and you don't actually feel that. So we want to get into that feeling place with this. So catching up with the comments now, we will have a look at the weather to see that, and I find another reason to be cheerful, because I think things are warming up in Portugal finally. And we will also have a look at how to order food in Portuguese, because we like to do a bit of language on a Friday. Talking of language, Jen there does use the S word a little bit, as I think it's probably a German thing. So sorry if you've got like kids watching at the moment who are now running around the house saying that word. I mean, there's a funny side to that, obviously, for us, but maybe not for you. And I don't know who is the youngest listener. That would be quite interesting to find out. Who is the youngest person listening today? Who is the oldest person listening today? So,
is that
God, Jen?
Is that the right space to say that I do walks with kids as well and counseling?
And she extends their adult vocabulary as an extra added bonus. They got to learn sometime. So Will is saying, and we need to address this, because some people might think this is, Will, there are keywords on social media that can cause a lot of trouble. This is probably one of them. It's good morning in Arabic. That was his earlier greeting. Sabah akhir. Okay, assalamu alaikum to you, Will. I am now Wheel, the domestic terrorist. I took a hostage last night from government. Demands have been issued. Folks, he's joking, okay? That's Will's strange sense of humor, and I actually hope he's joking with that, and he's not using this as a platform to further his political ends, although he usually does. But I mean, that's a real escalation. I enjoyed your drinking your feet at Azores, says Penny. Great fun. So that was fun for someone watching me getting drunk last night. Thank you, Penny. Bon dia from Lockdown UK from Bob Spondon. Good morning to you, Bob. How's it going for you? Are you going to chip in something of a grateful nature and start feeling that this morning? That's the direction to everybody. Gemini says good morning all, and yep, that's the grey that you mentioned before, Jen, the constant grey that did it for me and caused Louise to move to Portugal. Yeah, there is that. It is like a cartoon thing, isn't it? That cloud of grey that follows you around. That's very accurate, actually. Foggy on top of my head this morning. Even the castle is shrouded over the inland areas. A metaphor, as he looks out at the castle, that's also covered in cloud. Bon dia from Fiona to us both there, and everyone gathered here. Oh, well, look at this. This is a reason to be grateful. New glitter disco ball has arrived. That's going to cheer up lockdown. Friday night kitchen discos. We will be having another disco tonight. After the man cave, after the grumpy old geezers have had a little bit of offloading and a drink, the carpet will be rolled back. The furniture will be pushed to one side, and we'll be having another dance tonight. Penny, nice one about the glitter ball. Can't believe it's been a whole year since I was in Cascais Estoril, but our real estate agent said today we could have our house sold and be over there by late March. Fingers crossed, Thane, for that to come about. Yeah, keep the old Portuguese pilot lit, my friend. Jen's very cool. Yeah, you can be in the pirate gang. So you actually have been awarded, I think, a special place in Will's gang there. Deborah Davies, really? I wonder what that refers to. From Patrick Funds. Good morning to you, Patrick. I like it. The Reformed Pharmacists. That's a new hashtag now trending for any pharmacists who want to join into into the sort of work that Jen's doing here. And Patrick, Gemini Bradshaw, you're welcome, beautiful lady. Patrick, quite the ladies' man, I think, in the comments this morning. Last night we were talking about anxiety we felt when we were out in crowded places, which just seems so wrong. Anyone else had this feeling? And how should we handle it, do you think? So I think Gary, friend of yours, of course, Gary very kindly made the introduction between you and I, Jen, and that's why you're here. So cheers for that, Gary. And also, yes, to answer your question, I'm guessing this is like we spent so much time being conditioned into being scared of other people and public places. What can be done about it? What would you suggest to do about that, Jen?
I mean, again, it's this state of mind, and what I wanted to jump on earlier that kind of fits there as well. So a big thing is about what you put into your brain. What's your input? If you watch the normal daily news, which are 30 times a day, and every time they're trying to bring you in fear and talking about increased numbers and all that, if that's your main input, the mainstream media, then sorry, but what do you expect? It's you cannot put just negative stuff inside your head and then expect it to be a really positive being. That's not working. So if you want to be more positive, of course, it should be more positive input. Think about, what do you actually put in your brain every day? What is it you watch in the internet? Is it rather funny stuff that's useless? Is it something that could help you? Is it something about the actual numbers in each and every country? Like, what is it? And make sure there is some positive input, or sometimes even none. Take the time and just be. And it's so hard for so many people, including me, and I know for a lot of women particularly, just to sit and do nothing. Just sit.
Why is that? Why is that?
Yeah, I think that's down to the raising. We've all been told whenever you have a break and you have a pause, you're lazy, huh? What are you sitting around again, you lazy cow? Why are you not doing anything? You got nothing to do? It's no time to chill yet. It's not even 6 o'clock. You can't chill now, Carl. You still got to do something. Come on, go clean your room. Do whatever. Help mommy. Yeah. So all these things, that's still in our brains, huh? And so...
Got it. Yeah, all right.
Exactly. Yeah, so
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and we've scratched it. I think it was the first time, this little boy that's actually still in control in your brain.
Oh yeah.
And that's part of it. So this is all created. Our image of I is created when we are really little. So when you are about 2-3 years old, you actually notice, I am different to other people. I am my own person, and there's other people. And when I look in the mirror, there's me. And when I look at my mommy, there's my mommy. So we are different people. And then there's this I bowl in your head, and it gets filled with all the things people tell you you are. You're stupid, you're beautiful, you're pretty, you're a cunt, you are whatever. So, and from there, this whole bowl mixes up yourself, and this is what creates your self-image. And with this image, you go out in the world and you think, this is me. I am a crazy chick traveling around, living in a camper like a hippie, trying to reform pharmacy. Whatever.
Who would that
whatever.
be then?
Okay, I don't know. Right. So whatever you tell yourself, but I am are the most powerful words you have in your inner dialogue. You are what you define yourself. So again, if you are in this loop in your head thinking, oh my God, I'm afraid, oh my God, I'm afraid, I'm anxious, I'm terrified, what will happen, what, all this worst case thing again, huh? But
Yeah.
if you bring yourself back into, so what am I grateful for? Oh, Gary, you got this beautiful, loving wife, huh? You're Linda. Give her a hug, give her a kiss. This is something to be grateful for. And before you guys go out, this works on the physical and this works on the mental level. When you are exposed to something, you know that is not really giving you a comfortable feeling. Put on a magic crystal dome. Boop, you put that on top of you and nothing can happen to you. Just imagine it as an imaginary wall around you. That doesn't mean you should crawl around in the COVID virus itself. I don't mean that, but I think you know what I mean. It's
Yeah.
about you again. When you think this can't do anything to you, this won't be doing anything to you. When you think, oh my God, I'm so vulnerable, I really need to take care that I don't touch anything in the public, you will probably get it. And think about this, please. Most of the people, we all are very much aware of the facts we don't want in our life. But what do
That's
we get?
interesting. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
make your mind up
There's a
what you
bit more
actually
homework.
want.
That's a really
Yes.
good point. What are we thinking about all the time? What are we avoiding? Because whilst we're thinking about things that we're trying to avoid, we're thinking about them, aren't we? And we may be attracting them with some sort of self-fulfilling prophecy. I think this sort of mental technology is very important. The eyeball, I quite like the idea of an eyeball. So I hope that's helpful, Gary. We are going to talk about your attitudes of gratitude in the comments here. We've got a lot of catching up to do in the comments. I do have some things that bring me great joy. No question about that, Louise. I think we all do. And sometimes they're the most unusual things that you realize you've had for 20 or 30 years or whatever. And how did that happen? But I'm grateful for them, she says, and so glad I bought them years later. And when I'm away, I miss them. Absolutely. Understand that. Fiona, building new neural pathways and connections rather than becoming stuck in fear freeze. Excellent, Fiona. The answer to really was yes, really, from Deborah there. Being grateful for being completely nice on Fiona. I think we're leaning against an open door there. Up in Porto, Joel, what do you make of all of this, Joel? He's our real Portuguese man. I think with a rather pragmatic view of life, and I'd be very interested to hear what Joel has to say about delving into this sort of mental technology. I avoid using the word lockdown, says Louise. Repeating that you are locked down can really affect you, how you feel. Like Jen says, there's lots to be grateful for. We really aren't locked down. It's true, isn't it? We've agreed to a course of action. And I think that's really useful to remember, Louise. Yeah, we agree to do this. We're doing it because we think it's the right thing rather than being sent to our rooms as an ancient childhood memory. That's a really good point, Louise. Thank you for that. So true. Thanks for this chat, says Celine Bonte or Bonte. Good morning to you, Celine. Hank, I have a warm bed to sleep in. Here we go. Some of the really great things that people are thankful for. I have a warm bed to sleep in, a full stomach, a roof over my head. I'm grateful for that. And it's like 1 a.m, and he's still got a full stomach. So he is truly a lucky man over there in California. Lentia Van Dessel. I woke up at 6 this morning. I could have been moaning about that. I was lying awake so early, but decided to take it as an opportunity. Got up, made coffee, and watched the sun come up. I'm well, Gel. That sounds like a lovely thing to have done this morning. Thank you for that, Lentia. Good vibes bring good things. Always. Yes. Grateful, says Gail, for my health and my life here in Portugal with my 2 kittens, the ocean, the lovely people, the slow pace, the wonderful food, the wine and the music. I slowed down to read that because I was taking that in. I was drinking that up, Gail. I'm feeling what you're feeling there. That's lovely. Thank you. Louise, I'm grateful for a Good Morning Portugal. As I said, daily reminder of community and good people. Oh, thanks, Louise. Me too, I have to say. Woke up to a sunny day and your company, says Olga. How lovely. I'm grateful this morning for listening to the show. I hear what Jennifer is saying and totally get it. Thank you, says Cheryl. How lovely again. Penny, thank you, Cheryl. I do gratitude every morning on waking and before sleeping. I also set some intentions for the day. Sets me up for the best day. And Penny is a cheerful soul. We know that. It's working, folks. It's working. We can see that. You can see it on people's faces, can't you, when they do these things? And you can sometimes see it as well with the grumpy old geezers. You know, some old men are fascinating, aren't they? The sort of old men where you think, blimey, it's being so cheerful that keeps him going. Because I remember an old man, his name was Cliff, years ago when I lived in Yorkshire in England, and he had a problem for he had a like a problem as a solution for everything. And he was really a proper grumpy old bloke that you couldn't write it. He was he really had a problem as his solution for everything in life. And I had to ask him one day, I said, do you feel you're kind of grumpy, aren't you? How is it to be like you? And he'd never really thought about it. And a little smile came on his face. And what I realized that he was passionately committed to being grumpy. And in a funny sort of way, it was quite good for him because that was his character. That's what people had told him. That's what he told himself. But he was really good at it. And I think despite, you would think, okay, well, being grumpy is terrible. But actually, he was so good at it. And so I got so much joy out of it. It actually worked for him in a funny sort of way, if that makes any sense. Okay, back to sorry, Cliff. God rest your soul, I suspect now. Totally thankful for boxed wine, sensual, plentiful, and enjoyable. I think people are really getting into this now. Fiona, grateful for living in beautiful Portugal. Grateful for all I have and for living in abundance. Grateful my water pipe is not frozen this morning. Grateful all my young chickens are happy and growing. Lovely, Fiona. Will now. This is the 4th turning I told you about, Carl, back in March. Supposedly the golden age comes after, if I remember right. Yes, let's just go with that, Will. That sounds great. We are in the 4th turning, everybody. It's official. It's been announced by Will on the Good Morning Portugal show, and the golden age is just around the corner. I'm grateful for hot coffee, long silk underwear, and that reminds me, where is my, anyway, and the sunny day outside my window this afternoon, despite the very cold weather. Life is good, Caroline. That's awesome. Because in Russia, in Moscow, I imagine that to be quite a, challenging environment. There you are with that lovely, list of grateful affirmations there. Grateful for the sunny morning today. Sun brights up everything, including lockdown. Yes, well said. Ana Rita Vieira and Cascais. It's all true, Carl. Hilariously so. Yes. And the truth, although it can hurt sometimes, I think the truth, as you're saying there, is a hilarious thing as well, wouldn't it? When you see it, it occurred to me the other day, life's a joke. It's fine when you get it, but it's a little bit difficult when you're trying to figure it out. Like when someone tells you a joke and you're trying to figure it out, it's a bit embarrassing, isn't it? I don't get it. I don't understand it. And that could be a very uncomfortable thing, especially when you're a young person, you don't get the joke that everyone else gets. And I think life's like that. And then when Jen comes along like this and gives you a clue about how to, be more functional and happy and healthy, that's when you get it. And you go, oh, yes, of course. It's as simple as that. It may be simple, not necessarily easy, and that's what we're working with this morning. But yeah, beautiful things that are being shared here, and lovely technology that you're reminding us about, Jen. Warning, long text. And my insight into gratitude is that my refusal to write a gratitude list for weeks and weeks, and I didn't know why I couldn't write one. When challenged as to why I refused to write one, the person helping me said, "Are you not grateful for anything?" I sat for a while. Oh, and then burst into tears, says Deborah. I heard myself say, of course I'm grateful. I just think if I write a list, God will see the list and realize he's made a mistake at giving me so much and will take it off me. Oh, no. Oh, Deborah, I get it. I understand that. And I think, I think Deborah does as well now. I'm tearing up here with you, Deborah, honestly. And we need to find out what happens at the end of that really long text, don't we? So please do give us the rest of that. Yeah, I do need an offloading for sure. Okay, see you tonight in the man cave, Joel. He's not said anything about gratitude yet, but I'm sure he's grateful for that opportunity at 10 this evening. Who's got the glitter ball? I'm coming over. We can dance in the garden, socially distance covered in glitter ball light. There you go. I'm very grateful that I have had the opportunity to almost complete purchase on a house near Guarda. Oh, good for you. Hoping to renovate and move over for good in 2 years. Yeah, you'll have missed the worst of those minus temperatures, Bob, in Guarda at the moment. Grateful that Gin Tonico is kicking in. 1:25 a.m. in California. Cheers, Saud, to you, Thane. It would be wrong of me to have a drink, although that could work, actually, in a funny sort of way. Sending love to you, Deborah. You absolutely deserve all you have. Don't think any God works that way. And we're right with you there, Fiona, on that response. And I'm sure, Jen, you are as well. Light up the darkness. Absolutely, Will. Although you put a question mark there, say more. Megine, you should ideally try to get out of a crowded situation. Thank you for that, Megine. Here's the link. Here's the link to Expats Portugal. It's not to it. Here's the link on the Expats Portugal comment there of HoliHealthy. And it works on a number of levels: holiness, wholesomeness, holisticness, and healthy. Obviously, it does what it says on the tin there. That's how you get in touch with Jen here, who's with us this morning. I am loving the synchronicity and serendipity of your conversation, as it directly correlates with the concepts in the book of a friend in the Netherlands on human logic that I'm editing while listening. Ooh, spooky. Nothing like a bit of Lacan's theory before 10 a.m. Tell us more. Do you know what that is? Lacan's theory? I think that probably is. Tell us more, Deborah.
Maybe, but I really forget easily, so I don't know.
Well, I think that's one of the hallmarks of living joyously. I mean, people do make such a big deal, don't they, about memory. And a lot of dear old folks really give themselves a hard time when they can't remember things. And I understand why that's frustrating, if you can't remember where you've left your keys, or even why you've walked into a room sometimes. And we're all getting there. But I think it's also a sign of joyousness and spontaneity to not be worried about you remembering every little detail. And we've got the flipping internet now, and we can write things down, and we've got other people. Wouldn't it be lovely if a lot of old folks did say, well, sod it, I'm old, I don't need to remember things, I'm just going to dance around, hips willing and whatever. But why be burdened with all this information? I really don't understand it. It really freaks people out when you just sit and do nothing. No book, TV, radio, etc. on. People ask, are you okay? It's true, isn't it? Are you okay? Sat there doing nothing. Yes, thank you. I tell people that cud chewing, which looks from the outside as being lazy, is an essential element in making milk. Yes, well said, Thames. If you want the milk, buzz off and let me finish chewing my cud whilst drinking a gin and tonic. Of course, the law of attraction for sure. Thank you, Fiona. Absolutely. Bon dia, everyone. Al Viagra in the house. No, yes, we'll take all the help we can get. Very good issue. Congratulations, says Nuno Mendes. She's a pharmacist. She knows what I'm talking about. Will Thompson, a useful trick I learned is to go around thanking everything. Thank you, sun. Thank you, tree. Thank you, coffee, etc. We're doing good this morning, aren't we, Jen? Actually, I'm reading all these comments, and you're being forced to be quiet. Why don't you read some comments as well? Go on. Do you want to read a few of these?
Right, Irene is saying, yeah, I agree with all you're saying. I studied psychopharmacology and majored in psychology and neurology. Did lots of brain surgery on rats. Ooh. I love solitude and express gratitude daily. If does work. It does work. It does work. I have a crack in my display, sorry.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, haven't we all? Haven't we all these days? I mean, why did anyone think making a phone out of glass was a good idea? Here's another one from Will for you, Jen.
When you get around to checking my, you will see the penny will drop. The plot continues to expand, I guess, with giggles and reality intertwined. Yeah, see, that's another thing, what you said with the old people as well, and it's not just with old people, it's generally the image again you have of yourself and the expectations the world might have on you. That's all just made up in your head. Sorry to tell you this, but most of the struggle you make yourself.
Yes, it's true, isn't it?
It is. If you think, and we've had this Christmas, if you think you need to go and have this meal with these people because they expect you to be there and be happy and jolly, have you actually talked with them about it? Maybe they don't even want that. And it's like, okay, if somebody... good example from my side. So I'm a very helpful person, obviously. And I remember, and that is such a great example out of my life, or how I rule. There was this dude at the campsite, it was. And with my dog, we just started chatting a little bit. Typical German dude with a big stick in his back. Big, nice, pretty camper man.
Go on, sorry.
big, nice camper van, really nicely polished, no dust inside whatsoever, outside nothing. Next morning, I saw him, and I just went, hey, you're right. And he went, no, I locked myself out. And straight away, I go in solution mode. Okay, what can we do? I've spent half the day to get in this bloody camper, and afterwards, I was like, he didn't even ask me if I would help him.
Yeah.
No, by telling me and sharing his story, I assumed that he expected me to help him. And because I'm such a helpful person, immediately I got into my helping mode and thought, yeah, all right, how can we tackle this? Huh?
Yes.
But
Yes.
no, I've really, really had to learn over the time, particularly with the majority and variety of knowledge I have, not to tell everyone what they can do. When they don't want to know, they just don't want to know. And it takes your energy. And that is, again, is that expectation coming from yourself, or is that somebody really told you that he is expecting from you?
Yeah. Very good. And there's an expression, there's probably another one in German and in Portuguese, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions. You got to wait, haven't you? You got to wait to be invited, or to be asked for the collaboration, the cooperation. And it is very difficult for very sort of loving, helpful people who've got their personality in their eyeball. They've got their identity out of helping people. I totally understand that. Frank says, I'm grateful for having wonderful friends and family and moving to a wonderful new town. It's lovely, all of these gratitudes coming in. Any God would not want to take those things, but more want you to share them, says Gary to Deborah. We didn't get the end of your text yet there, Deborah, but I think we're with you completely there. And thank you for sharing that. It's very sort of intimate, authentic share there. So thank you. I really appreciate that. Not miss the minus temperatures, Bob. It's freezing here in snowy Halifax in Yorkshire. Good morning to Yorkshire. And already people with Brexit, I have heard that people are struggling to get Yorkshire tea now in Portugal. So when you come, Bob, make sure your vehicle and your luggage is stuffed with Yorkshire tea grown in Yorkshire. Not really. Hank Stalica, I agree. Less human doing and more human being. Absolutely, Hank. And Frank's saying, oh, here you go. Lacan's theory. I think it's Lacan, isn't it? About desire, dissatisfaction and displacement. I think we're both going to have look that up. Talking of memory, my wife remembers everything. Well, you can safely outsource all that, and you can not have a care in the world, Nick, apart from, remembering that you promised to put those shelves up or whatever. In what area does Jen do her walk? So if people want to go for a walk with you, obviously notwithstanding all the regulations, etc., as we should say, where do you do these, Jen?
Well, the offline, real physical walks, they are in the area of Tomar, Cortiça, Azores. What I also do or decided to come up with that, and I think I'm gonna ask Gary to give people a little insight with his iPad suggestion, taking me on a walk with his iPad. No, go on a walk, and he joins with his iPad. So I was thinking to offer as well therapy walk calls. So I'm basically plugged in your ears, you walk, and I every now and then tell you little things you could do on the walk. Because COVID, not a lot of people can come here and do it physically. It's great if I'm with you, but it's not impossible if I'm not. So it would be not fair to limit and restrict it to this area, particularly not in these circumstances. So where there's a will, there's a way. If you won't get in touch with me, I'm 100% sure we will find something to help you out with.
There you go, solution focused. My mum brought me up to be very wary of a man who wants to take you out for a walk with his iPad. So be careful. We've heard about
he's
Gary
bringing
Paul.
sweets.
I'm grateful for many things, big and small, including the slowdown and peace as a result of the COVID restrictions, practicing radical self-care and doing whatever raises my serotonin. We've got such an amazing group of people here, haven't we, that we mix in and that we move among. That's fantastic, Doreen. Thane, the late American psychologist Albert Ellis used to say, Don't should on yourself. That is such a good one as well, isn't it? If you catch yourself shoulding on yourself, you shouldn't do it. I'm only kidding. I'm the same way, says Sharon. Hi, Sharon. Good morning to you. And I'll be returning from the UK soon. Let me know if you want me to bring tea. Always bring tea.
That's sweet.
What do Germans want from to be brought into Portugal? Generally, if we're talking cultural stereotypes here.
What's the German thing to bring into Portugal?
Yeah.
I'm not. See, I'm a bit of an alien German, so I don't really miss a lot out of Germany except scorched peanuts.
Scotch peanuts.
Scorched peanuts. Yeah, it's peanuts with chocolate. Yeah, they are like M&Ms, but the cheap ones from Germany are the best. And this is one of my secret addictions, which is now not secret anymore. Now you know.
Not anymore. And I honestly thought you said scorched penis there. So forgive me. And let's not go
selective
there.
Selective hearing.
I know. Wow. Yeah, I mean, missing that would be a weird thing. You can fall out with people, Carl Munson, says Gary. Only kidding, Gary. See you tonight, I hope. Thanks, Jen. I know I create much of the struggle myself, but it's a choice. I claw through the darkness. That is bad science, shrouded in money and politics, and fight for the truth, the solutions and the light. It can be a lonely place, but it is by choice. And I have to say, Will, we see that in you, mate. We really do. That, you know, we see, you know, well, I see your mainly your big heart shining through. And I know you go to some dark places with the struggle that you've taken on for humanity. And I completely acknowledge and love you for that. And my request to you would be, you know, like, I don't want you to suffer. I don't want you to suffer for us or the planet or anything like that. We see your big heart. So many of us do, Will, in this community. And, you know, really applaud and support you in what you're doing. And I think I speak for a few of us here. We don't want to see you hurting yourself or getting into too many dark places. But of course, that is your choice and your life. I'm not telling you not to do that. But, you know, we love you, man. And we don't want to see you come to any harm or distress in what you're doing. Sorry, Jen, go on.
We'll just make sure you let some light in every now and then.
Yeah, absolutely. Good advice. You say it in a few words there. I'm going all around the houses and let some light in from time to time. There's conguitos. Is that what scorched peanuts are? Okay. The end part of Deborah's message was, I realized that I needed to work on the reasons I felt so unworthy, the roots of which lay in low self-esteem, which was connected to lots of horrible things that happened mainly in childhood. It's been a journey. I had to address my image of God and why I believed in a punishing one. I totally understand that, Deborah. And so many people have that, don't they?
Yeah.
God bless you, Deborah, for sharing that with us. I think that will resonate.
It's really
with
sweet. Yeah. So,
wonderful.
May I say something, Carl?
Of course you can. That's what you're here for. Go on.
So what Deborah is pointing at there is what we've scratched earlier again with this I am image that you have made up in your brain while you were little and everybody told you how you were and what you were. In indigenous cultures, usually when you are, let's say, out of puberty or you are about to become an adult, you have a certain time where you leave your comfort zone, your family, in order to double check all the opinions and ideas you got from them through heart and soul to see if that is actually reflecting your spirit as well, if that is your opinion, or actually double check in a situation, is that how I got told? Is it really the way that would give me a successful outcome from this? But we are missing this. We're going from our stupid old school system into university or a job, and then you are in this 9-to-5 hamster wheel where you run your way towards burnout, not even questioning what you're doing. But that is it, because you don't even have a break where you can actually reflect on, is that what I'm doing actually fulfilling me? Does that have a greater sense? Or is it rather killing me because it's absolutely not coherent with what I am feeling? Like if you are a vegetarian and you work in a slaughterhouse, this is going to kill you on a mental level sooner or later. And this mental level will go over on your physical level. But when this is the case, you take the pills then, and try to suppress it, keep on slaughtering, and then sooner or later you will be slaughtered. So this is where it's so important to not take your body for granted, to team up with your body, to allow it to express its needs to you, and to be gentle enough to yourself to listen up to it and take some time for it. We are all so full on, constantly outside, powering, doing this, doing that, not even taking ourselves time to just sit, because that would look weird. That would be awkward. People don't expect that of you. I need to do, otherwise I'm a lazy cow. No, nobody expects you to work yourself sick. That is just the stupid idea of what we created in society, how life has to be. And that's another thing we've shaped when we are really little. Beside this I am bowl, we also have a bowl of how life has to be. And we get things told like, life is hard, life is a bitch, no pain, no gain, you don't deserve that, you only get this if. So all this conditioning, all this stuff, this is, we go out with all this vulnerability, and then we don't have another choice but putting a big wall around us in order to survive in this world. That's absolutely normal. That's a survival instinct. But now we're all big. Like Will said, or one of the beautiful comments, thank you for being there. Thank you for protecting me. Now I'm big. Now I can decide, and I choose not to take this route anymore. I choose to decide pro-gen, pro-Carl, pro-life, and I take time and actually explore what I like. We all lost this childish curiosity for life. And then when we want to try something, we try it once and then we fail and we say, oh, that's nothing for me. I really tried it. I just can't. No, that's not true. When you started walking, have you done it with the first step? Did you did a marathon? I don't believe so. I
Yes.
believe it took you a couple of times. And that's normal, of course. In Germany, we have this saying, no expert ever fell from the sky. So you have to practice in order. Yeah, but it is like this. You have to practice in order to get there. Like, I don't know all this stuff because I woke up enlightened, and I still not am. But I decided that with how my life goes, I'm not happy, and I want to have an impact on it, and I can. So I then take the choices that I do not want to live in Germany anymore. I do not want to spend my day 9 hours a day in an environment which I don't agree with. It makes me sick. I don't want to spend time with people who are constantly negative, because in our conscious collectiveness, it is not surprised that we have what we have, because we all put in so much BS. It's if we'd all come a little bit more into this gratitude attitude, then it's just these tiny things, but the peace of the world starts within you. Your peace is the peace of the world. The law of attraction Fiona was talking about. That is so true. You get what you get exactly what you are. And like I said earlier, we are really so good in knowing what we not want. But
Yes.
please take your time and find out what it is that you want. And if that means you try out a couple of things, that is also okay. Because at the end, you at least tried and then know, okay, that's nothing for me. But if you never try, you never know. And one thing I like to use in my life, and it also comes and gives you a bit of this gratitude feeling, where I think we all got an idea on how that feels if you really tune in there, is if you think about, right, nobody of us knows when the day will come and our life will be over. So if you're lying on your deathbed, what is it that you would have regret not doing? And do that.
Wow. Okay. Powerful stuff. Very good. And Gary agrees. Wise words, Jen. Here we are coming up to 10 o'clock. So I think we should conclude. I think that's a really good place to conclude. Just a couple more comments to come in because I don't want to ignore what anybody's saying. And of course, we want to say thank you to you, Jen, before we disappear. But I think Joel is trying to get us in trouble by searching for Conguitos online. So be careful with your search history and what adverts might start coming up if you search for that. Search for it on someone else's computer. Angelica, it's hard. It's so hard to just let go of stuff that's out of your control, isn't it? Wasn't it the Buddha who said, "Let go or be dragged"? That is really powerful stuff, Hank. Thank you for that. Penny observing, as well as being a jewelry designer and maker, I'm also an analytical hypnotherapist of many years. I work with people to resolve those negative childhood experiences which are impacting them as adults, life-changing, of course. Yeah, those habits in childhood. And the idea that we still got a child inside running our lives, I think is so powerful, as you said, mentioned before, Jen. We have a whole lot more body since lockdown. Yes, Peter.
Your choice, Peter.
Yeah, run around the garden. Can you do your little hand signal one more? So a request from Will. Can you do the pirate hand signal, the finger gang one? There we go. Oh, let me just zoom in on you for that. There we go. Can you do that again, please, Jen? Yeah, okay. Because that's part of the story from yesterday. I even explained it. That cannot be random coincidence, more provenance and providence. Yeah, absolutely. So that's making sense for Will there. Thane, the late American comedian philosopher Bill Hicks, talked about the difference between seeing the world through the eyes of fear and the eyes of love in a great monologue called "It's Just a Ride, Man. It's Just a Ride." That is worth checking out. And he's put the link in there. It really is good stuff to finish the show on. I was going to tell you how to or work with you to learn how to order food in Portuguese, because the cafes and restaurants are shut, but they are offering a takeaway. There's the link to Mia and has wonderful resources to look at in your leisure, or probably when you're hungry, and then you'll have the motivation to learn a bit more Portuguese tonight, possibly if you order a takeaway, or over the weekend. Will Thompson, dancing with light sticks in your hand, plus Spider-Man, Spider-Woman, love it. Signals of fate, signs of hope, nice one. Will Marcus Valbon, hello guys, don't deserve this kind of lockdown. I guess Marcos is affirming the need for normality again, whatever that is. I think our view of normality is getting a right going over at the moment, isn't it? Space is booked for the tea. He's bringing right, so get in touch with Bob if you want your supplies of Yorkshire tea to be brought over from the motherland, from God's own country. Get in touch with Bob for Yorkshire tea orders. Because it's a philosophical thing, actually, joking aside, to be pondering life's mysteries over a good cup of tea. Thank you. Another awesome show. A pleasure, Louise. And you obviously played your part in that. Conguitas is or was a Portuguese sweet. Oh, so that's all right then. So he says. Not related to anything kinky, Carl. That's cool. That's called me out, hasn't it? And just put me where my mind always works. Hi. Is speaking. Life is a ride is good. Going back to the Bill Hicks comment. Thank you, Jen. It's been lovely talking to you again. You are a resident now, of course, here, aren't you? And you'll be joining us. I think this is this the third Friday we agreed that you would be joining us of every month. So really looking forward to talking to you again. What do you want people to do in the time between this third Friday and the next one, as a little bit of homework, maybe?
Well, try like we had this shared in the comments as well a couple of times. So try to at least once a day ask yourself what you're most grateful for. The best time for this to do is when you're lying in bed, because then you drift off into sleep with a positive mindset. Or if you wake up in the morning, open your eyes, and before you start going into your grumpy modus and thinking about all the shitty stuff, give yourself just one little moment and think about what was great, what is great, what do you want to do for yourself today. And next time we'll talk a little bit more about the inner dialogue, what's going on in our heads, how this will impact or does impact us, and how this is connected with gratitude as well.
Oh, wonderful. So thank you for creating that warm and fuzzy feeling on this Feel Good Friday, Jen. May you take that with you, everybody who was tuned in today. Thank you all for making the wonderful show it was. And thanks especially to you, Jen. See you again soon. Ciao, ciao, até logo. Abraços, beijinhos.
Thank you. I'm very grateful for being there. Have a beautiful day. Beijinhos. Até a próxima.
E bom fim de semana to you as well.
Bom fim de semana, igualmente.
Oh, fabulous. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.